There are three things that define a princess in Nintendo. They have to be pretty, they have to be damsels in distress, and they must wear a floor-length ball gown. But what if we told you that Nintendo has a few lies they weren't telling you about our favorite franchise's princesses? If you like characters with a little more depth, then you should look no further than our notification squad. Subscribe and they'll make sure you're never left with another subpar YouTube video to watch, which makes them far better than yet another flat character, and kind of like your typical damsel in distress. Or hero, but better. Pauline was the beginning of it all. We're sure that some of the hardcore fans of Nintendo know the backstory of the princesses. We're also well aware that Pauline wasn't a princess, but she became a staple of the Nintendo princess's identity. Pauline acted as the original damsel in distress in Donkey Kong, which meant that every female character after her would take a little something from her. Pauline originally looked very similar to Peach, with blonde hair and even the famous pink dress that our favorite Nintendo princess wears proudly. Nintendo did away with Pauline for a while after Donkey Kong because they recreated her as Princess Peach. But Pauline made another appearance in the Game Boy version of Donkey Kong. The updated Pauline had a torn red dress and brunette hair. She also seemed to be business savvy and kind-hearted. There was a mention of Pauline by Mario in one of the games, although it was never confirmed whether Mario meant his first love interest or not. The Nintendo Comic System released a comic called quote-unquote Cloudburst, where Mario mentioned his ex-girlfriend and compared her to Princess Toadstool. It's kind of sad that Pauline basically became a forgotten character of Nintendo, even though we know that she's the basis for every female character added to the franchise. Rosalina is Peach's daughter. Here's another character that some claim has no royal ties as a Nintendo princess. Although we like to think of it differently because if you'll remember a few strange occurrences in Super Mario Galaxy, you may also agree with us that Rosalina could possibly come from royalty. Shigeru Miyamoto, the project's godfather, wanted a storyline and an origin that made sense, but was also exceptionally long and detailed for Rosalina. Doing so meant that Rosalina wouldn't get the story that she deserved, but instead would be relegated to a fairy tale. And it gets a bit odd when we reach Chapter 4, The Dream. It took a while for us to finally realize that the story is talking about Rosalina. You'll see a quick glimpse of her mother's face only once, but only the lower half. Those earrings and that hairstyle look all too familiar when comparing it to Peach in a blue dress. In the end, Bowser's planet implodes, and the Lumas sacrifice themselves to save all the characters, creating a Big Bang-like event. They come back as new stars. Rosalina says, quote, "Stars turn into stardust and then form again as new stars. But the cycle never repeats itself in quite the same way. So you'll see," end quote. This obviously means that Rosalina could possibly have been the daughter of Princess Peach in a previous cycle of the universe, if this is a constant occurrence, as it seems to be. Not all princesses are damsels in distress. The original concept for the princess was that they needed to be rescued, but that made them bland and boring. Nintendo decided to give the princesses more pizzazz and personality. Some of those Nintendo princesses even became the first female playable characters, other than Samus Aran, of course. We have instances where Peach isn't just a pretty princess in a pink dress. In the very first cutscenes of Super Mario 3D World, Peach is the first one to jump into a pipe after Bowser, and she's given quite the personality in Super Princess Peach. She was even given emotions like joy, gloom, rage, and calm, which would give her special abilities in the game to use against enemies. We can't forget that Peach had constant contact with Mario through written letters. How was she able to score such amazing items while being held captive by Bowser? It makes us question whether she really was being kidnapped or just playing games with Mario. Also, we can't forget the awesome moment when Sheik reveals that she's actually Princess Zelda. What a twist of events that was. It proves that she may have never really needed Link to rescue her after all. Princess Peach had another name. For years there was some confusion about Peach, as she was also known as Princess Toadstool. For some reason the name translated to Princess Toadstool in the US in the 1987 Super Mario Bros. Game, even though it had always been Princess Peach in Japan. She even signed many of her letters as Princess Toadstool, and it wasn't until Super Mario 64 that she signed a letter to Mario using both names. Today she just refers to herself as Peach. Many gamers believed that they were actually two different characters, which would have made sense, especially if you were watching the Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3 cartoon. You would have noticed that Princess Peach looked very different from the game, with her auburn hair that looked similar to Princess Daisy. There was even a robot Princess Toadstool created by Koopa's subjects that didn't quite make the whole Princess Peach, Princess Toadstool debacle any less confusing. The imposter robot princess did a pretty great job of taking over the kingdom without Mario or Luigi being aware. In fact, they only became suspicious after she returned early from vacation. Apparently, the real Princess Toadstool was so overwhelmed by running a kingdom, she would never have done this. We also almost need a vacation after trying to piece together the single shared identity of Princess Peach and Princess Toadstool. Peach's parasol isn't just a pretty accessory. Princess Peach is one of our favorites, if you couldn't tell by now. You'll probably remember the introduction to the pink parasol in Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars. It's used as a weapon in the game, and also a way to sneak out of Mushroom Castle. She would use the parasol as a way to parachute down from her second-story room without alerting the guards, which proves to us once and for all that she isn't the damsel in distress that we thought she was. You'll also see her use her parasol in Super Smash Bros. Melee, where it becomes a special move. She uses it to glide through the air and hit opponents. In Super Smash Bros., the Parasol was given additional moves called Parasol High Jump and Light Parasol. The Parasol High Jump doesn't stray far from its name, giving Peach the ability to jump high, but she also doesn't float in midair with that move. Light Parasol is a jump that doesn't have quite the height of the high jump, but allows Peach to glide upward slightly. Overall, the Parasol doesn't just look like a pretty decoration, but it serves a functional purpose as well. Princess Peach has her own secret slide in Super Mario 64. You're probably tired of hearing about Peach by now, but we promise this is the last lie that Nintendo has told you about the original princess. It isn't exactly a lie, but a secret that they didn't want you to find out too easily, and also wasn't simple to uncover. If you remember playing Super Mario 64, you'll remember seeing the stained glass windows with Peach's portrait on them. These were part of Princess Peach's castle, which over the years has changed in appearance. This is most likely because of different artists' views of what they thought the castle should look like. In Super Mario 64, the castle makes up the hub, which provides a way to enter into different worlds within the game. There's a secret room inside of the castle with a quote-unquote eye marked on the outside, and inside this room you'll find 3 stained glass window portraits of Peach. Choose the one on the right, and you'll disappear into it and discover a slide. This, of course, is the only secret one that contains blue coins, and the only course that has no red coins in the original game. There are 3 slides in the game, but this one is one of our favorites. It might even beat out the cute Lost Penguin slide. Princess Zelda is not the same in every game. This isn't technically a lie because no one really talks about it. It's just one of those unspoken things that's part of the Zelda franchises. We already know that Link has the ability to travel through different times, which leaves us questioning if Zelda can also travel through time. Not exactly. Zelda isn't really a name, but it's a title given to females born into the royal family of Hyrule in the Legend of Zelda series. So what this basically means is that Zelda is different in almost every game. This also explains the different alter egos that she disguises herself as if she's not the same character. Every incarnation also appears as a different age, ranging from child form to young adult. It's estimated that Princess Zelda from Twilight Princess is one of the oldest forms we're introduced to, as she's about 20 years old. Skyward Sword is the only game where Zelda isn't shown as a princess, but as an incarnation of Hylia. Princess Zelda is chosen by destiny to be the keeper of the Triforce of Wisdom in the era they are born. This means they can play an important part in the legends of Hyrule. We found it difficult to choose just one favorite Zelda when there have been so many great ones. Daisy is a tomboy. It's kind of weird to even imagine the words princess and tomboy being synonymous with each other. But then again, Daisy isn't exactly your ordinary princess. In her debut appearance, it was even stated in Super Mario Land as a defining part of her personality. Although tomboy isn't quite the right definition for Daisy. She's more sassy and edgy. It's pretty obvious that she doesn't take anything from anyone and likes to compete. She could quite possibly be a better ruler than Peach, seeing as the land she's originally from, Sarah's land, has only been invaded once. You also know that unlike Peach, Daisy would never let someone just kidnap her or try to take control of her land. Unfortunately, Nintendo must not have felt the same way about the more rambunctious princess, since they took her out of the game for 9 years. Daisy was again reintroduced in Mario Tennis for the Nintendo 64 because there was a lack of human characters in the series. After that, Daisy came back full force, to be added to over 50 Mario installments, falling just short of Princess Peach. Daisy was also one of the first characters to have her midriff showing in Super Mario Strikers. We've come a long way since her original outfit in Super Mario Land. The newer, more sporty Daisy is actually what we've always envisioned her as. Princess Wendy O Koopa was named after the lead singer of a punk rock band. It's tough to have 6 other brothers, Princess Wendy O Koopa is basically the poster child for what it's like to grow up surrounded by boys. She's also named after one of the most fascinating frontline female singers of the punk band the Plasmatics, Wendy O. Williams. The former Nintendo of America employee, Davy Brooks, explained that he decided to name the siblings of the Koopa Troop after famous and notable musicians of the time. There's no denying that Princess Wendy O Koopa is tough and smart. She's beat her brothers out to become the leader of the Koopa Troop. She might be Bowser's favorite child among her siblings, other than Bowser Jr., of course. Wendy also has an obsession with wealth and power. This might be another reason why she's one of the 2 Koopalings in Mario and Luigi's Superstar Saga that drops 102 coins instead of 99. This could be a reference to her greed, or just to show that she's one of the leaders and therefore has gained more coins than her counterparts. She's typically portrayed as a selfish character who does whatever it takes to impress Bowser, although we're not even sure if Bowser has the capability to have any favorite things, other than, of course, his love for kidnapping Princess Peach. Princess Shroob is a master of disguise. Princess Shroob is the villain of Mario and Luigi Partners in Time for the Nintendo DS and is known for being a master of disguise. She decides to set off a full invasion of Mushroom Kingdom. There is an elder Princess Shroob who becomes entrapped by the Cobalt Star by Peach. Princess Peach has been using a time machine ship called EGAD's Time Machine, and the Cobalt Star was used to power it. After capturing the elder Princess Shroob in the star, it shatters and spreads across the land, creating time holes. The younger Princess Shroob successfully captures Princess Peach during the mishap, and Mario and Luigi are alerted in the future. The 2 brothers set out to rescue Peach and discover she's in the Gritzy Caves. They find her with a Shroob mushroom covering her face. It turns out the princess is actually Princess Shroob. It's interesting that not only does Princess Shroob fool Mario, Peach's love interest, with her disguise, but she even tricks Bowser. Bowser has had 20 years of practice kidnapping Peach. You would think that if any of the characters had known something was wrong, it would be him. We have to give Mario the benefit of the doubt, since he probably spends more of his time tracking Peach down than he does spending time with her. Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoyed the video. How do you feel after hearing all these lies about Nintendo princesses? Do you still believe they're the same boring damsels in distress they've always been made out to be? Let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to hit that like button and share with your friends. And while you're at it, subscribe to The Gamer, and consider joining us next time as we unlock even more additional gaming bonuses and secrets. I'll see you next time on The Gamer.